Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Regional Insight Forum podcast. So today we discuss one of the significant development in Middle Eastern geopolitics, the ongoing US-Iran flare-up following recent diplomatic understanding and the broader regional developments, including the future of MOU, which includes 60 days commitment aimed at de-escalation and renewed engagement. While diplomatic efforts remain continued, but tensions remain high, raising important questions about regional security, nuclear negotiation, and the future of US-Iran relationship. So to understand these complex issues, we are with us our distinguished guest, Dr. Noman Sattar Saab, who is Director Research at Regional Insight Forum. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. So the most pop-up question these days is what are the current state of US-Iran flare-up and what are the main causes of these continuous, tensions?
Okay. We all know that US and Iran had reached an MOU about a month back, and in that they agreed to a broad framework for, first of all, end of hostilities, and then to sign a final deal. Apart from that, they also agreed to remove the naval blockade, and there were around 14 points. And then all of a sudden, things were not really going smoothly, but suddenly we see a flare-up and we see Iran attacking. There were some issues with the passage of ships from the Strait of Hormuz. And then we see, about a few days back, Iran attacking 3 vessels. And in response to that, the US, of course, started airstrikes on Iran for one day, and then it was repeated the second day, and then Iran retaliated by attacking the Gulf countries that it had also done in the past, and that includes Jordan, Qatar, Bahrain, as well as Oman. So now we see a new state of hostilities, and I don't think it's going to end soon, because both sides are, I would say, willing to strike the other, the US, Iranian targets, and of course Iran, US bases and facilities in the region. So this is sort of the broad background of the current current flare-up and the conflict as it goes on. Even like this morning, like last night also, the US carried out attacks against Iran.
Right, sir. Sir, how has these MOU and diplomatic understanding has affected the relationship between these two countries?
I think it has not affected that much.
Right.
Of course, there were efforts from many countries, and especially Pakistan, to bring the two countries together. And I think it was a very hectic effort, very intense effort, and both countries agreed to sign a MOU. And it was a broad framework for a long-term settlement. But then I think both countries still don't trust the other, and Iran keeps on saying that the US is not trustworthy, we cannot trust the US, and of course the US says Iran is not following the MOU. So both sides, there are accusations from both sides. So basically what we call trust deficit, despite everything, despite the MOU, it's still there, and I think it persists. So of course at this time, US had allowed Iran to sell its oil, and it took back that concession. So Iran is not supposed to sell oil. It was doing that. It was allowed, I think, 60 days to sell oil, and now Iran is not doing it. So of course, relations are not good. Of course, we are getting very hostile statements from both sides, Iranian side as well, and of course American side from President Trump as well.
Right, sir. So are we witnessing a move toward diplomacy, or still there is a risk of high escalation, sir?
Well, at this time I would say there is risk for high escalation, and I think diplomatic efforts have not really picked up. We have heard countries like Qatar was involved in the beginning,
right,
when this flare-up started, and Pakistan, I think the first step is urging caution. So both the countries like Pakistan, they are also urging caution to both sides. But I don't think any serious step has been taken to stop that and bring the two countries back to the table to renew their, you can say, commitment. So at this time, I think it's not really there at this time as we speak, a diplomatic, as something like a hectic and a strong diplomatic move to end the, I would say, hostilities.
Right, sir. So currently, what's the role of regional states in Middle East, including Israel?
Well, I think at this time, Israel apparently is out of the picture.
Right.
It's out of the picture. I would say even Lebanon is out of the picture.
Okay.
They've had a ceasefire with Israel and things are sort of settling down. So the countries of the region like Oman, because Iran has attacked Oman, Iran has attacked Bahrain, Iran has attacked Kuwait and Jordan, and all these countries, especially Oman and Qatar, were sort of, I won't say supporting Iran, but they were trying to mend fences and bring Iran to negotiating table and urging restraint. So I don't think so long as these attacks continue, they'll be doing that. So when these attacks stop, only then they can go ahead. So at this time, they are, I would say, under attack. And I think countries like maybe Turkey, Pakistan and Egypt, these three countries, and I think I would say Saudi Arabia, they can take a lead like once again in bringing, urging the two sides to come together to the MOU. Not the regional countries, I would say at this time, like I won't expect Kuwait or we don't hear anything about UAE at this time. So I don't think Kuwait or UAE would have this role at this time, but maybe states like, because Iran has been in touch with Oman,
right,
discussing like the passage and all that, and of course countries like Egypt, Turkey, they can, along with Pakistan, they can play a role as they played before.
Right. So, sir, how these developments, affects like the Middle East stability and security?
Well, I would say it remains insecure. Things uncertain, and I think I don't see any stability till, I would say, the two countries accept each other's interests. They agree to follow the MOU because it calls for ending of blockade. It calls for Iran managing passage of commercial shipping. It's in the MOU. So that has not taken place. I think the big issue, the main sticking point is the passage of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. And I think that's probably the main point on which the two countries have to come together. They have to come to an understanding, like what, as they say, in letter and spirit. Unless that takes place, I don't think there can be lasting peace. And of course, Middle East, again, US attacks Iran and Iran attacks like its neighboring countries. So I don't think things look good in the Middle East at this time. And I think it's going to continue, like maybe after a break of a day or 2 days, it's going to continue.
All right. Okay, sir. Is Pakistan is being like in the limelight in the present scenario, right, sir? So what are the possible implications for Pakistan and wider South Asia, especially on geo-economic fronts?
Well, slight correction, Pakistan has been in the limelight, but not at this time, not in the last 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And I'm sure
even before.
They have been thinking, I'm sure they are thinking what to do and how to approach both of them.
Right.
Because earlier things were sort of continuing, but now they had stopped and now there is a resumption of hostilities. So I'm sure the Foreign Office and maybe the government, they are thinking, the PM has gone to Qatar for a condolence visit. Maybe they would discuss some ideas on how to bring the two together. So I'm sure it has a, of course, this conflict, like in Pakistan, you can say, the wider neighborhood has a big impact on Pakistan, especially in geo-economic terms. We see, just as the news of this came out, oil prices were they rose, they were hiked up, and I'm sure as this continues, there is going to be more hike in oil prices. And as we see trade and shipping disrupted, and trade does not mean just oil and gas; it also means fertilizer, and of course the whole region, in a way, the whole broader region is affected by this. So I think geoeconomics comes in a big way, not just oil and energy. So it is going to affect Pakistan and the regional countries, and somehow Pakistan gets affected more, as we see.
Right, sir. So, what should the international community should do to reduce the further escalation and conflict? What possible role the international community can play in the present scenario?
Well, as we saw in the last instance, national community did not play a role directly. Like
Right.
a major Western country, they did not.
Right.
They did not play a major role. Only regional countries led by Pakistan, they played a role. And I think countries like Germany, France, Britain, they can play a role, or even China, they can play a role along with the regional countries. And I think we have heard nothing from the UN, we have nothing from the OIC. So I think at this time, I think what's lacking is a more active role or proactive role from the national community is needed to settle this, like in the longer term. At this time, that role is missing, unfortunately. That role is missing.
Sadly. Right, sir. Sir, going ahead, like what most likely the scenario, like in the coming future, what would be the relationship, where you see the relationship between the US and Iran in the coming years?
Not in the coming years, I would say.
Even in coming days.
In the coming days, in the coming months, in the coming days, I don't see anything coming up like positive.
Right.
But unless they agree to go back to the MOU, unless Iran agrees to let free passage to the Strait of Hormuz, because frankly, it's sort of puzzling for me, like Iran attacking oil tankers from different countries, because of course they have a right of passage under international law. And Iran had also agreed in the MOU to let them pass, to make efforts to have that free flow. And Iran is somehow not complying with that. So I don't, unless that is settled, because see, even when the MOU was signed, both the countries did not seem to be on friendly terms. No, there was no indication of that. So I think unless the two countries agree, or I think for that they need to remove the trust deficit, because now then when they have signed the MOU, I think they need to be on, I would say, somewhat friendly terms, or let's say not hostile terms. At this time, again, they are on you can say, hostile terms with each other. So unless that goes, that thinking goes, and I still don't know if it's the Iranian government or Pasdaran Inqilab, like who's really calling the shots at this time. Like they have shown a great show of strength at the funeral of the late Imam Rehber, and probably that gave them more confidence internally to take on this defiant posture. Maybe it's that, but then of course they are still facing a superpower under President Trump. So they need to, I think, take things more realistically, more pragmatically, especially since they have now signed the MOU. I would say they're in a way bound by that, and if they don't follow it, then I think it's not good for the region, it's not good for the Gulf, it's not good for the regional economy, it's not good for regional peace.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and to have this wonderful insight on the present scenario.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. As our today's discussion shown, that US-Iran tension will not only shape regional security, but also global geoeconomics, affecting trade routes, energy markets, and economic stability. Thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you again in another episode with another insightful discussion. Thank you again.